Hey, it's Kim from Carolina Sewing Back. Today's project is a really neat little hand-sewn tulip. These are super easy to do. Kids love to do them, and it's fun, fun, fun. You can add these to a pencil or a pen, or you can put a whole bunch together and do like a topiary. And so today what we're going to need is one rectangle of fabric, about 6 by 3 1/4, some cotton, polyfill, hand sewing needle and thread, a glue gun, and a pearl for adornment. So let's get started. The only machine sewing that'll take place today is you'll take your rectangle of fabric and fold it about 1/4 inch down. Just finger press it on one side, and then you can place these right sides together and run about 1/4 inch seam allowance down one side so that you end up with something like this. Okay, so normally when I do them, especially if I'm going to do a whole bunch of them, I just chain piece them back to back to back so that you have several of them. And once your piece is ready like this, we'll go ahead and take our hand sewing needle, and I've got a nice long needle with a double strand of thread and knot it on the end. So we'll start at the end that's not folded, and we're just going to run a nice little basting stitch along this edge. When you get to the end, we're going to pull it tight, and we're going to want to go ahead and tie a knot at this end before we turn it. And I've got one done right here. So this one, you'll see we've just got this knotted nice, and we'll go ahead and turn this right side out. Take your polyfill and go ahead and stuff this now. And you don't want it too loose, but you don't need it real tight either. Just whatever's going to give your flower the nice shape that you need. Now the first stitch that we take is going to be on the end that we had sewn right here. So you're going to again take your needle and thread and knot it at one end. So you'll take your needle and thread, and we've got a double strand knotted at the one end, and we're going to go ahead and take one stitch right here in the side that we ran a little seam in, okay? Now I did this on the outside so you could see mine, but you should go on the inside. Once we've got this one done, we'll just fold our edge down like it needs to be and make sure that the next stitch that we take is directly across from there. And go ahead and pull that up tight. And your top will start folding in on you, and that's what you want it to do. And now our next two stitches are going to just be taken here and here. Before I do that though, I like to sew back through, just straight through like this, and it just holds that in place for us. So we're going to take a stitch here and pull that in and make sure that your tulip forms nicely, and then the last stitch is just straight across from this last one. And pull that in nice, and then once you've got that pulled in nicely, you want to knot that and go ahead and get it ready to put our pearl on. Now I've got one here knotted for us so that it's nice and closed and everything is formed. Now all you're going to do to secure this is just knot that in place, and then go ahead and use the same thread to put your bead on with. And I like to just use the regular pearl beads. If you use a glass bead, sometimes it will cut your thread, so just be aware of that. I'll go ahead and stitch this through. I like to run my thread through maybe twice is all you need. You could hot glue this on at the end too if you wanted to, but I like to go ahead and hand stitch mine on. Send it back through this way, and then we're going to go ahead and knot that stitch off, okay? So see how pretty that is? So we've got one here all completed, and so this one's all done, and now we're just ready to go ahead and put our pencil or our pen on the bottom of that. I'll just put a little hot glue right at the bottom, and with the eraser in, just let it sit there for a moment and dry. And then you're all done. These are great little gifts, and you can put them on packages. You do them in different colors. This topiary has about 50 to 60 tulips on it. And it's just done on a styrofoam ball. And of course, you just get a stick from Michael's or AC Moore, and you just hot glue them all on there. So I hope you enjoyed this project today, and thanks for visiting with us at Carolina Sewing Back.